Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am Danielle, and this is my husband, Lawrence.
Hello, guys.
All right, so please like and subscribe. If you want to know more about my content, you can go to my website, Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am on Facebook and Instagram, Mrs. Danielle DeVita. So I today we're going to talk about two things, and it's going to be uh, dating those with children and being friend zoned, whether the man is friend zoning the woman or the woman is doing the friend zoning. So, in case you guys haven't known, we have been married for 12 years, but that doesn't mean we don't know a little bit about dating and how to even get to the point of marriage. So, we're going to talk a little bit about things that's happening today. I talk about all things relationship, femininity, marriage, and my husband is going to shed some light on a few things from a male perspective. So, um, I've never dated anyone with children, but you did. So, do you want to start talking a little bit about what the man perspective is dating women with children?
Yeah, for me, it was interesting because it was definitely something different, especially because I was younger when I dated a girl that had two children actually. And I gotta say, honestly, after dating a woman with children, not having children myself, me personally, I probably wouldn't go back to doing that again. And a couple reasons why. First reason is, in the relationship I was in, the girl that I was dating still had ties to um, her children's father.
Ooh, like what kind of ties? What do you mean?
Like, still had feelings, that type of deal. And I think when you date someone with children, that's something that you have to weigh in as a factor that, because they had children with someone else, there may still be some feelings there. Because there's
So
always something that's
what?
going to tie them together.
How did you know? What signs does it show that someone still has feelings for their baby's father?
Well, I would say stuff like if they're talking more than on a basis just for the kids itself. If they're having like sidebar conversations, text messaging, things of that nature, and just things that you don't do when you're in a relationship with somebody else. Obviously, if you have kids together, you're going to have some form of communication. That's obviously. But when you're doing it too much or excessively, and you're talking about other things that have nothing to do with the children, then that's a different story. And mind you, I was only 20 at the time, so you know, I mean, why put myself through that if I don't need to? You know,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. I've never dated anyone with children. To be honest, I didn't date a lot of people anyway. But I don't think I would have dated anyone with children only because, like you said, our age. When we met, we were 21. So if we do meet someone with children, it's like they're going to be pretty much practically just coming out of their teenage years.
Yeah.
If you are someone of a certain age, like in your 30s and your 40s, it's suspected that the person that you may date is
Right.
probably going to have children.
Absolutely.
But by that time, you may have a different point of view about things. But I still wouldn't date someone like what he said, who has ties to their ex, whether it's the guy or um, the woman, because if you're having communication outside of the child, it's like now you're making your future relationship muddy because now you're bringing extra drama. And I think a lot of men are afraid of the drama. A lot of women are afraid of the baby mama drama. A lot of men are afraid of the baby daddy drama. Um, but for me, if I had anything to say, I would say if you're having issues with the child's father and you guys, whether were married or not, the question is, what is it? Look in that relationship. You made it with this person and it didn't work out. Why? What was it in that relationship that you think you can do better in the current one, and how you can make that change, whether you're dating or not, but especially those who made it with the other person, because you don't want to make that same mistake twice. And a lot of people, I feel like they do that.
Mm-hmm.
they have a child by someone who's not worthy, or they feel that's not worthy,
Mm-hmm.
but then they do it again, either with that same person or another person, and then they
Right.
do it again and again, and it's like, who's really the problem? Is it them? Maybe, but is it you too? Maybe. And I think a lot of people don't like that drama
Yeah. Yeah.
of, did you make good choices? Do you think that's why the whole issue it is with dating people with children, because of the issues that people have? Is their preference issues?
What do you mean by preference issues?
Like who they decided to be with, their decision making, and who they dated.
As to why they have as to why they have a child with that person.
No, as to why the other person says no, I don't want to date people with children. Is it because they are wondering, okay, you look like you made bad choices, I don't want to have to deal with that?
I mean, really, they probably just don't want the responsibility. I mean, let's just be honest. If I'm a single bachelor, why would I want to date a woman with children? That's just extra baggage. And that's just being totally honest. Not to say that that woman isn't good, and that woman might be the woman for the man with no children. Who knows? But just looking at it from that perspective, why would I do it? And just to use a reference, and this is not to minimize anyone, but just to use it as an example, if I go on a car lot and I see two cars, one has a flat tire and the other one doesn't, they can be the exact same car. I'm gonna buy the car that doesn't have flat tires, because it's one less thing I have to worry about. So just using that kind of as an example, children come with a lot of extra responsibility, but at the same time, what I would say, for women that have children, I feel like you still have to know your worth, so don't just settle for any man.
Yes, especially because you have children, you can't settle for the sake of the children, because they're going to enter into their lives. I think if your children are really young, you probably shouldn't date, only because especially if you have like toddlers, infants, those who are 7 and under. You need more attention to them, and going back and dating may not be the best given their age. Or you do date the person, but they don't meet your child during a certain time period.
Yeah, I feel like most people are gonna still date, but like what you said, maybe you don't introduce them to your kids until your kids are a little bit older, or until you guys are serious enough to where the guy knows exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking for something long term in that person's body. So
yeah, all right. Now I want to play the other perspective of the situation. Mm-hmm. You said if there's a car and one has, something's wrong with the car, mm-hmm. Flat tire, whatever, there's more mileage than the other, and you decide you want the car that has less work, right? Mm-hmm. But let's say you're talking as a man with options, and there are men who have more options. They have money for a new car, so they're going to get the newer car. Mm-hmm. But what about the guy who has, this is what they have, this is what the bank allowed for them to have, so they don't have too many options? They're going to either get a certified pre-owned or just a basic car, and a lot of them is going to have, when you look at the Carfax, there are going to be some issues with it. Mm-hmm. So in reference to dating, if the guy doesn't have as much going on as what women like to call high-valued men, their options are going to be just as limited as women who have baggage and stuff going on with them. Their options are going to be limited. What do you say about men who are not as high valued? And I'm not talking about just high earning, but just high valued all the way around, but they want the same options as the man who is that.
Well, I mean, so with that being said, they can still get those same options, but it may turn out to be a lemon in the end. And what I mean by that is, it may look pretty on the outside. The woman may look pretty on the outside, but there's a reason why she might be extra thirsty for a, low value man. I'm just going to use that as a phrase, not to minimize it.
Okay, well, what is a low value man to you then?
I mean, it's different to everybody. It could be a lack of income. It could be a lack of looks. A lack of life achievements. So how how successful a man is. So I mean, I feel like everybody has their own definition of a high value man, and it's just being real, you know, everybody has options that they want out of another person, whether you're a man looking for a woman or a woman looking for a man. But back to your question though, I just feel like, in that type of situation, the man may not get exactly what he wants. If and I'll just put a number scale to it. Um, let's say I'm a 7, okay, and I meet a girl that's a 10. You know, why would the 10 go for a guy that's a 7? 7 could be anything. It could be looks, it could be money, it could be achievements, anything. But you have to ask yourself that type of question. And it could be a multitude of reasons. They could like you for your personality. Or it could be maybe she's coming with more baggage, but we just don't see it on the outside. So that could be something as well. But this is
Okay.
my take.
So yeah, so and again, this is not to say because if you've watched enough of my videos, me saying who's high value to me, I don't think a man who's high earning that makes him high valued. He has to be of value to the people around him. That's what makes him valuable. So his skills, his knowledge, his expertise, his how he serves his community, those around him, um, him being and that can be through his resources, maybe his occupation, through his income, through his style, his looks. It's like he said, a combination of things. So I think a lot integrity, character, because those things are
Mm-hmm.
important to me.
Absolutely.
So um, like like I say, when I met you, um, most people they look on just like, oh, okay, how much does this person make, how much this, how much that, and then this is what I can get, this is what my options. And women think because they're pretty, that's all of their value. Well, I think if you're a woman, you cut yourself short, so then you lose out on people who are good potential. And like he said, there could be, you could meet a guy with children and you say, oh no, I don't want to date a guy with children, but you have your own baggage. You have to equate all of your baggage, all of his, and see how you guys line up. He
Right.
mentioned the number 7. I don't like number scales, but I understand they exist. So if I say that I'm a certain number scale, me going to someone of a higher scale would actually, it could potentially hurt me because I may not be meeting all the options that they want. We'll talk about friend zoning with that because that's usually when you're out of your what your options that you should be getting, someone's going to get friend zoned. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'll say, I think when you're in your 30s and your 40s, it's expected that you're going to date with someone with kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
let's say we weren't together
Mm-hmm.
and we have our 3 children and we're not together. Do you think that most women would consider you still a prospect that you have 3? I think so because they're going to probably look at his income and all the other stuff. But
Yeah, probably so. But like you said, if it's relative, if it's women that are in my same age group, 9 times out of 10 they'll have children as well. But I think it's harder for women to find a man when they already have children, even if that man has children. And the reason I say that is, it's not a fair scale, unfortunately, and that's just kind of how life is. Women are held to a higher standard than men. When it comes to, sexuality, when it comes to looks, when it comes to how many children you have. Women are expected to be held to a higher standard.
all
So,
right, so let me make sure I understand this. It's possible that you still have lots of options having 3 children, and if you were no longer married, women would still flock to you, um, because there's other things of substance about you. But
yeah,
me
absolutely.
having someone with 3 children is still a no go.
No, I wouldn't say it's a no. I'm not saying it's a no go at all. I mean, you're beautiful, obviously, so you would
Thank
definitely
you.
find somebody. But what I'm
He
saying
would need to have. He would have to
is,
have children. A guy without children. would not want to be with me. I think I agree. I don't think a man would want to take on another man who has three
I
children.
would say this: a man of the value that you would be expecting that doesn't have children probably wouldn't.
Okay.
And that's what it goes back to. Women have to know their worth, even if they have children. So you can't really just settle for the first person that comes along just because you have kids and you think that's all you can get. You have to really
Exactly.
know your worth. But what I will say is with women, this is my thought, my feeling. I feel like especially at the age we are now, mid 30s, women in that category want security. You know, whether you have your own or not, you don't want to be with a man who's not able to provide, emotionally, spiritually, financially. You want somebody at least on your level or better, or somebody with the ambition to want to do more. And I think that's where it comes into play to where, if you are a man with children, if you're able to provide security for a woman, even if she doesn't have kids, she's more likely to want to go your route. So
Yeah, I agree. So now let's talk because you brought it up. You brought up the number scale. So let's talk about friend zoning. I want to know, do men really friend zone women? Now when you're looking at all your options as a man, what would make a man friend zone a woman? Be
um,
honest, be honest.
I mean, I think if they're not physically attractive for some reason, I think men think more off of the physical aspect of the relationship more than anything else when you're first initially meeting someone. So if I'm not physically attracted to you, I don't really see that relationship going any further. You got the best attitude in the world. You can have the best personality in the world. For a man, if they're not physically attracted to you, I don't really see that moving forward.
Okay, let me make sure I understand this.
Yeah.
Friend zoning for a man can also mean he's being friends with benefits, but not committing to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. We'll take the benefits
So you can
all
be
day
friends
long.
with
Oh
benefits,
yeah,
and you're technically
yeah,
friend zoned. You just don't know it
yeah. You just
because
don't
you
know it,
you
but
think because you're getting the benefits, you're not friend zoned. So if he didn't commit to you, you're essentially friend zoned.
yeah, absolutely. And that's actually a tall tale. Like if a guy just sliding through your DM or sliding through, just for a quick booty call, and there's no other substance there, like you guys aren't going on any dates. Y'all always chilling at home. It's always Netflix and chill. It's never going anywhere. You never meeting his family. Like if the only time you see him is either at his house or your house, like you friend zone with benefits.
So
Nothing
then
else to it.
you named looks. That seems obvious. If he doesn't look, if you don't seem like the look he wants based on whatever his looks are, you're friend zone. What's another reason a guy, or would that be the only reason a guy friend zone you?
No, even if so, I wouldn't even say that's the only reason. So I say looks because that's probably what men, that's probably what men acknowledge first is how a woman looks and if they're attractive from that standpoint. But I'll be honest with you, I've met some gorgeous women that just have really nasty attitudes, and like there's no way I'll be with anybody like that. So if you're stuck up or you're bougie, you'll still get friend zoned with benefits. Men always want the benefits. So yeah, so it could be definitely personality as well. I probably say those are probably the two. Looks and personalities.
Okay. Um, I will say, so if a woman friend zones a guy, I think there's several reasons. A lot of men are gonna assume it's looks, but women date men, and looks is not necessarily at the top priority for a woman who is not. I don't know the word I'm looking for right now, but if the woman is not smart, she will only go off of looks for a guy, which means that's the woman who dates the good looking guy who literally is like a hobo, HOBO, a hobo, which means he offers nothing. He literally lives with her. He literally has all of his money is really her money. His couch is her couch. So everything is really where she's in control of everything and he's just living off of her. But she's with him because he looks good. The other one would be because he puts it down. So um the first one, a guy, if the girl is not attracted to you naturally, she's gonna friend zone the guy. That's obvious.
Oh, so the same thing with women then too.
But that should not be the women who are a little bit more intelligent in the area of dating. That's not gonna be the only thing, because there has to be a lot of things. Because as you can see, there are women dating older men, men who are like old, and men who are just not attractive, but they'll still date them. Why? Because there's something else they're offering. So it could be something like they're putting it down, you know. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, sometimes it's easy to get hypnotized by the D, and if he's not hypnotizing her, he's gonna be friend zoned, because then he's not offering something that she wants. There's no benefit for her, especially if he's not putting it down. So if he doesn't look good, he's not putting it down. But I would say the number one thing is he's not offering some type of security that she sees in the future. Exactly. That's going to be the number one thing so when she sees him, most women are looking at looks and how they dress as a level of some type of security he's offering. And it's not just financial. It's physical security, which is why you see girls like to be with bad boys. He looks like he can offer some level of protection if she needs it. But a woman who's looking at only protection are women who are probably going to put you in positions that you're going to need to be fighting for her. And that's not the woman you want. You know, she's raunchy, she's hood, and so she needs someone who's going to have her back. Mm-hmm. When she says, "Oh, you did this to me, I'm going to get my man." She wants that kind of guy, a fighter, a lover and a fighter. You know, people say that they're a lover, not a fighter. She wants the fighter. Right. Or it's going to be financial security, emotional security. And if you're not offering, especially financial security, if you don't look like she can, stay somewhere and feel secure financially, you're going to be friend zoned. So those are going to be the main reasons why a woman would friend zone a man. The first one, obviously, if there's no chemistry, she doesn't find you attractive. Mm-hmm. If y'all did get together and she realized you look good, but you ain't putting it down, she looks at you and see where you work or what you do, and you don't look like you can offer anything, she's gonna friend zone you. Mm-hmm. And you feel like you're doing the whole Steve Urkel. Yeah, you're friend zone. If you gotta keep hitting her up, "Hey, beautiful," and you barely get text back, or all you get is text but no phone calls, you're friend zone.
Exactly.
If all you're getting is, and maybe you don't offer money, you don't have any money, but you putting it down, you might still get friend zone. She may use you just for that, the same way guys do. She may use you because you look good, but if you don't have the whole component of what she's looking for, you're gonna be friend zone, which means she's probably dating other people. She's probably still with her ex. She's probably going back and forth. She's probably saying, "I thought we just talking, not dating." So why do guys who seem to friend zone the woman seem to get jealous when he's with someone else?
I think that's probably just a jealous dude that probably just maybe not having anything else going on. So, he's trying to keep the control of that situation or that girl. Even though he doesn't want a relationship, he still wants to be able to have some sense of control. So he's like, "Oh, I don't want you, but I don't want anybody else to want you." But I don't think that's really a friend zone situation. I think that's more of a relationship that probably went bad, but there's probably still some type of feelings there when it's that type of situation.
But so you're saying the guy who realized, "I don't want this girl," and he has options, he moving on, he not looking back, no matter who she's with.
Yeah. I mean, if he was just there friend zone, because friend zone for us, either we just hanging out, we chilling as true friends, or we just hitting it from time to time. So, we don't care what you do, you go do you. That type of deal. So basically, don't settle. If XYZ is something you want, then that's what you should look for. Obviously, at the same time, you don't want to do that to a fault. And what I mean by that is you don't want to do it to where you're being shallow. So like, oh, I only want to do this 6'3" and drives a Mercedes. Like, I mean, that's all shallow minded type things. Obviously, you want to look for someone that you're physically attracted to, but also someone who's on your level or who has ambition to be at where you're at or greater, especially when you're in your 30s. I mean, if you're in your 20s, people are still trying to build their income, they're still building their wealth. So at that point, you're just looking for somebody to help build with you. But when you get in your 30s, you're looking for someone who is already well established on their way to that point. So,
Right. So, in short, with that part, just because you have children, it doesn't mean, like you said, you're settling. It just means you have to change a few things. See what you need to be matching up with whatever you're looking for. So don't be looking too high and don't look too low. Look to see where you are, because
exactly.
basically you need to outweigh. If you know that a lot of people don't want people with children, then your personality need to be better. Your femininity needs to be better as a woman. If you're a man who has children, then maybe your income, your confidence level, and a lot of things need to be higher to outweigh a few things. That's just like with anything. If you have weaknesses, you need to have some strength to balance things out. That's all it is. It's balance. And then friend zoning is we talked about guys friend zoning and ladies friend zoning. You need to understand, if you're being friend zoned, move on. That means that person don't want you. You're gonna waste more time being in this friend zone, thinking that you're gonna change it into a relationship. Once you're friend zoned, you are what you call kicked to the curb. And when you're driving, if you don't drive too close to the curb, because that's where people throw out all the trash. That's roadkill. So once you're over there, move on, because that person really don't want you.
Yep.
So that's it for that. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next video that we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about um, our American Express card that we received, and in about traveling. So you definitely want to hear about this. He's going to give you a little spiel about this. So we're excited, and we're going to do the unboxing of that card. So stay tuned. Take care.
Have a good one.